5 years after the Clark comet devastated 75% of the Earth, the planet remains a hostile wasteland. John Garrity, working as a scout and engineer, discovers that the environment is becoming increasingly unstable as new volcanic activity and storms threaten their underground existence. Inside the bunker, leadership debates sustainability. Dr. Amina argues that Greenland is no longer viable and proposes a journey to a massive impact crater in Western Europe. Scientific estimates suggest the crater's depth and surrounding mountains shield it from radioactive winds, creating a promised land where life can flourish. The decision to migrate is forced when a violent earthquake begins to tear the Greenland base apart. Amidst the chaos of the collapsing structure, John rescues his wife Allison and their son Nathan. They narrowly escape the crumbling facility and navigate a desperate crowd to reach the shore. After a frantic struggle to board a lifeboat and surviving a massive tsunami that wipes out those left behind, the Garritys, along with Dr. Amina and a group of survivors, begin a perilous voyage across the sea toward England. The voyage is marked by technical failures and dwindling supplies. When their boat runs out of fuel, they're left at the mercy of the currents until they drift into the ruins of Liverpool, which is now largely submerged. Upon reaching land, they attempt to find refuge at a military-guarded bunker, but a violent altercation with soldiers results in the group being separated and forced back into the radioactive wilderness. They eventually reach London and find Allison's friend, Mackenzie, who has turned her home into a sanctuary for Alzheimer's patients. During their brief respite in London, a devastating secret is revealed. John is dying. Years of exposure to radiation during his scouting missions have left him coughing up blood with a prognosis of only 6 weeks to live. Determined to see his family to safety before he passes, John insists they continue toward the crater. Mackenzie provides them with a car and a gun for self-defense, directing them toward the English Channel. However, the journey grows even more tragic when they are ambushed by scavengers. During the shootout, Dr. Amina is killed, leaving the Garritys to bury her before discovering that the English Channel has completely dried up, allowing them to drive toward France.
In France, the landscape is a graveyard of abandoned vehicles and massive canyons created by the changing geography. The family is forced to cross a precarious improvised bridge over a deep chasm, nearly losing Nathan when the structure begins to collapse during an earthquake. After surviving the crossing, they encounter a French survivor named Jean-Claude, who explains the grim reality of their destination. The crater is now a war zone where the Western Alliance and the Eastern Alliance fight fiercely for control of its untainted resources. Jean-Claude asks the Garritys to take his daughter, Camilla, with them to give her a chance at a better life. With a map and a contact name, the group enters the conflict zone. They successfully navigate through the front lines with the help of a sympathetic soldier, eventually reaching a base camp near the mountains. Although their intended contact is dead, John uses his own terminal status to plead with the military for his family's passage. They are granted space on a bus, but a final bandit attack forces John into a last-stand fight to protect the vehicle. Though John survives the skirmish, he sustains a gunshot wound that, combined with his radiation sickness, leaves him physically spent. The bus is eventually unable to climb the steep terrain, forcing the group to make the final ascent on foot. John, fueled by sheer willpower, helps his family climb the final mountain peak. At the summit, they finally behold the Clark crater, a breathtaking sanctuary of fertile farmland, fresh water, and a clear blue sky, a stark contrast to the gray radioactive world they left behind. John's mission is finally complete. Witnessing his family standing in the safety of the crater, he collapses and passes away, content that Nathan will have a future. The story concludes with Nathan and Allison looking out over the new world, tasked with rebuilding a society based on compassion and understanding rather than the chaos and violence they endured during their migration.